Hey everyone, thanks for watching this. I want to say thanks to Leo and International Paneling for having me. My name is Josh Graham. I'm a creative director, designer, artist, and musician. Leo has 3 questions for me, so I'll start right in on those. Number 1, Josh, you do all sorts of digital art, including making music. Can you give us an overview and tell us what you're working on these days? So I work as part of my agency called Suspended in Light, which I founded in 2001. I focus on print, digital media, music videos, concert visuals, social media, merchandise, and more. Primarily focus on music and work with a lot of independent artists, including classical pianist Alfredo Avalos, post-rock band Psalm, Norwegian metal band Enslaved, Dillinger Escape Plan, Sleep, Neurosis, and those are kind of the more obscure side. And then all the way up to kind of rock icons, including Ringo Starr, Allman Brothers, Soundgarden, the German experimental rock band Can, Wolfmother, Megadeth, and it goes on from there. In addition to sort of print and merch, I also do concert visuals, and I've worked with Jay-Z, Drake, Madonna, Florence and the Machine, Dropkick Murphys, as well as creating work for my own bands, Ivy and Storm of Light. Beyond the more commercial side, I also do fine art and focus on projection and printed work. There's a clip from an installation I did called Watchmaker, which was at the IFP in New York. And it's sort of a social commentary on the amount of nuclear weapons that we have on the planet. I've done shows in New York, LA, San Francisco, the Netherlands, and panels in Latvia and also the Netherlands. As far as what I'm working on now, I'm currently researching kind of different methods for video and for print. Beyond that, I'm working on a variety of projects for artists in Arizona, Russia. I'm in the process of starting an experiential visual installation company geared at live events and working in live locations, physical locations. So hopefully that will work out. So as far as music, I've kind of operated in a few different genres. I played in Red Sparrows, Battle of Mice, A Storm of Light, Ivy, Blood and Time, and I was kind of a resident band member, but a visual band member for the band Neurosis. My primary band project right now is called Ivy. It's spelled I-I-V-I-I, and obviously you can pronounce it Ivy or Eve. It's focused on cinematic scoring, soundtracks.
Your only living relative will arrive at the last moment with a gift. He's made a long journey. A terrible journey. Things he's seen, the things he's done. If only you knew.
I've just released on vinyl for Record Store Day the album Obsidian, which is out on Consoling Sounds, and the music on that release started as a score I did for the making of Darren Aronofsky's Mother.
Go ahead.
So obviously not really going to release a soundtrack for a documentary, so I kind of took those themes and expanded them into album-length songs, and that's what Obsidian is. What's coming up next for that is I'm playing the Consoling Sounds 24-hour deep listening festival in Ghent in Belgium on October 1st, and another show right after that in Utrecht, and possibly some shows around there. We'll see. Beyond that, kind of in the process of starting a new project with Dana Schechter of Insect Arc and Swans, and we're exploring something which may or may not end up sounding like Godflesh meets Portishead. So, kind of curious to see where we go with that. So, moving on to question 2. You do more than just create digital magic. You and your partner also fix up houses and travel around quite a bit. Can you tell us a little bit about that? So, yes, it's been an interesting 10 years, I guess. Me and my wife, Julianne Mann, who's a sculptor, artist, and has turned into a master carpenter, were priced out of Brooklyn around the end of 2011, and we didn't really know what to do, so we kind of drew an hour circle around Manhattan and settled in the town of Peekskill in the Hudson Valley, right on the Hudson River, and we bought an 1894 crack house. I'll put up some pictures of the before and after. That was our first renovation, and it took about 9 years. We did about 90% of the work ourselves, and through all the great friends we made in Peekskill, kind of our friends kept making fun of us, kind of, you guys still working on the house, and how's that going? And we put it up for sale in 2019, and we set a new record for the price per square foot in Peekskill. So we did really well, and we rolled that into the house we are now, which is in Washington. However, before Washington, we went to Bisbee, Arizona, which is about 7 miles from the border. It's a cool art town. I suggest looking it up. We spent 6 months there completely renovating a 1920 bungalow, some before and after photos of that. This was a house that my father had bought and never really moved into. So we basically made a deal that we would renovate it ourselves, and then we would basically take the money over what the initial investment was. So we rolled both of those into a house now on the western side of the Puget Sound outside of Seattle. We're in a town called Poulsbo, which is very heavily Norwegian influence. It was founded by Norwegians, and Norwegian was actually spoken primarily as the main language until around the 1950s. The area looks very much like Norway, which is one of my favorite parts of the world. So it's this house is still in progress, although we were able to kind of get through the first grueling steps very quickly. It's been interesting. So, question 3. You've been involved in the development of media for a while now. What do you see as the next big thing? And do we need to worry about our shared digital futures? For me, I think the next big thing is probably VR and how it can kind of create an augmented existence. I was having some conversations with friends last weekend about how people are using it just to expand their workspace. Instead of having a small laptop monitor going into VR, and they can have wraparound monitors and with access to all of the files and be able to work almost in like a Tom Cruise's Minority Report. I mean, may not be that ridiculous, but I kind of see just these advances through VR and augmented reality, and I'm not entirely sure it'll be good, but I'm curious to see where it goes, and I'm hoping to mix some VR elements with Ivy and kind of just explore music videos in a new way and figure out how to make something that feels immersive but not like a video game. So do we need to worry about our shared digital futures? I would say yes. Just reading articles about Generation Z fearing the formality of email, and they prefer to only communicate via text and less formal, more immediate, less permanent record of communication. I find that even with my younger brother that he's very anti-email, and it seems like a crucial way of doing business. So I'm curious to see how that really advances. But yeah, as far as our shared digital futures and social media, I think that is a big question, considering that some of the initial Facebook executives won't even let their kids use social media. They say it's destroying how society works. I think that's a pretty big commentary on the sort of dehumanization of how we interact with each other on these platforms. Not to mention the U.S. political scene over the last 5 years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm not confident it will be good, but I hope I'm wrong. So anyway, that is it. I want to say thanks again for watching this, and thanks to Leo and International Paneling, and hope to see you all soon somewhere.